They'll call my how they had built up, make it look really.
I looked around and
They redid it. I really haven't been there. Look at she's like, there's enough there for
So they're making 88 and 90.
you keep looking at what they're showing. You gotta watch, that's the background. They're doing all the classes, all of them.
What's the best in the world?
No, I don't, but that's
what we're
All right, good afternoon, everyone. We're going to call our regular board meeting to order. Today is Thursday, August 15th, 2024, and the time now is 4 p.m. So first on our agenda are the approval of minutes from our last meeting, that was July the 18th, and we have them in front of us.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And next, old business. So last week,
No, sure.
oh, excuse me, that's it, right. I can't skip it, I'm sorry. Public comment, please limit your comments to 2 minutes. Are there any public comments? Well, I'm excited, super excited today because one of my students came to see what we do here.
Hey.
Yeah.
Tell us where you're from school.
I'm Jeremiah Foster. I attend
Oh,
Howard
so
High.
that, what's your name?
Jeremiah Foster.
Okay.
I attend Howard High School and I'm a senior.
Congratulations.
He's really into elections.
We'll talk now.
Well, don't adjourn the meeting.
Okay. So now, old business, we had a request for fee increase from New Griswold Baptist Church, and we tabled that last time to kind of get some, quotes or to see what other counties were doing, and we do have a few. Would you like to elaborate?
They did most of the work, and they're almost 99.9% of the work on that. And to summarize, we are right in line with everybody else. It's not, that we're so far down that giving Grizzleville the amount they're receiving would be anywhere near what anybody else is paying.
Right, so right now, we are paying $200 per election, am I correct?
Correct.
And boy, this tells me we're right. I mean,
We're right in the
that's-
yeah, we're right there.
we're not too high, we're not too low.
I'm just refresh my memory, I wasn't here last time.
I'm sorry.
But, so they're asking for a fee increase after the November election.
Yes, we're starting
Starting with 20%.
2025, yes.
And do we have alternatives, to look at if, we elect not to pay the rest?
We have some potentials, as soon as the board decided whether or not they wanted to go along with Griswold's request, then we would start making serious inquiries.
And if I'm not mistaken, it's a budgetary request, which we have no.
We have no control over it. It would have to be put, placed
We
in.
submitted to the county and
Right.
they approve our fees. if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
So this was not set by us, it was set by the
No,
county
we don't.
commissioners. And,
You seem to be, pretty in line. Okay, any updates on?
thank you, whoever put this
Thank
together.
you,
Thank you,
Shay.
Shay. Thank you.
Any updates on the Macon awarding authority special election?
I do have one.
And Tom and I'll say Tom and I have one. When we called the election, which the call is still the call, that we did in July, we had not yet received or had the fees, qualifying fees set by the Bibb County Commission, which is a requirement. And that was not going to be done by the days we had set, so we need to move qualifying. And after a lot of conversation with Tom and the County Secretary of State, we arrived at the qualifying dates for this election of September 11, 12, and 13. And the county will have its part done by then, and Tom, I won't say that it's going to be the easiest thing in the world, but Tom, it can make it happen. We don't have a choice. We talked to the Secretary of State, and we cleared it all, so those dates will work if this board will approve them. They'll also be in the county's resolution when we start. So, that's the update, and if that's all right, I would ask that someone make a motion.
Make a motion to approve those dates.
So,
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, sir. I'm not gonna make it happy. No new business? So at this time, we will have our staff reports from our chief registrar, Yashika Kendrick.
As of August 15, 2024, we have.
That's all people. I'll let you come all the way up
Okay.
Joel can't hear.
Okay. As of August 15, 2024, we have 104,793, 104,793 for active voters. For inactive, we have 11203. That's 11203. And that gives you a combined total of 115,996. That's 115,996. DDS, we have 3558. Online voter registration, we have 501. And pending for verification is 306.
All right, Mr. Gibbons.
The SED met last week, and there's still a few things that have as potential things that have to be voted on next month, I believe. One thing they did decide on was that the board members for the county boards of election can make a reasonable inquiry as to the results of an election before they officially certify it. That wasn't, they didn't go into details about what that all entails, but they may well make some rules to support that. But you know what we know now.
So are you speaking of the new election rules that were just passed?
Right. There's still some that are in the works that have to be voted on, and some of them are more interesting than others, but that one was passed this past meeting.
Madam Chair, I'm sure Mr. Nolan is on this already, but I think it's going to be important to us to hear from him as this plays out, so that we understand how the rules interact with what is currently the statute.
Yes, I believe next week, I plan to go to the next, I go every so often, and it seems like these days you need to go every time.
Yeah. How do we resolve that?
Well, in the case of the rule about the reasonable inquiry before certification, they're gonna need to put, I think, some detail in that, simply because in the past, as you all know, certification has been treated as what we all call ministerial duty, which just means that you just do it. Once if it's the accurate vote count, you certify. That's the way we've always done it. And I think this arose out of maybe Fulton County, where there's one board member who didn't want to certify, right? And I don't want to say it in a biased way, but the only words I can think of is wanting to be able to hold up certification until that person was satisfied that everything was, but we've always treated it as this is the accurate count, not that you all would investigate fraud, irregularity, anything like that. There are mechanisms in the law, right, to do that after certification. Certification is actually required step. So that, I don't know if I even answered your question, John.
Well, I was really thinking that it's, probably in September is where we need to have a greater discussion on this, but I mean, it strikes me that this discretionary power is contemplated in rule, but the statute still says shall certify by a deadline, and that statute hasn't changed.
Right, exactly, and I don't know that would be a problem here, but obviously these rules have to apply to everyone, and you're right, reasonable inquiry and deadline.
Don't we have to have all the results in by 8 o'clock now?
You have to have your certification, was it 8 o'clock?
Is it 8 o'clock?
The early voting has to be.
Early voting has to be done
The
by 8.
entirety of it is still midnight.
But
It's just early voting by 8.
Or you keep counting until you're done.
Yeah, right.
You cannot stop counting.
You just can't stop counting.
That's correct.
And go home.
Is there also a provision that we're now supposed to empty the tabulators and hand count the ballots?
That is still, that will have to be posted for, I think, 30 days, and so it gets
So it's
posted
still
on.
that period.
Yeah, so that was another rule they introduced and passed, didn't they? That-
Oh, it still has to be official. That one wasn't voted on last week. That one gets voted on.
And that's where each precinct has to take the ballots out and count them,
Count.
Hand counting.
which puts more hands on ballots.
So that's
Puts more hands on ballots. It's gonna be for some overtime.
And delay.
It's gonna delay us producing our result.
And I assume everyone knows there was some turnover on the state election board, and there's a certain
Yes,
group in charge now.
Yes.
Is able to pass things over to the chair.
This past week or so, we've been working on petitions for some of the independent candidates, Dela Cruz and West and Kennedy. And so it's just a matter of going through the list of petitions, making sure that all the Bibb County people on the list are registered voters. So the registrars have been doing most of the work. I've been helping out this much. We're almost done with that. There's a couple of technical hiccups we have to work around, but kind of on the state level, but we're good. And we've been processing a few open records requests, nothing devious. There, people are asking about some of the costs associated with elections and federal candidates and a few other matters, but
on that line, can I ask you a question? Can you update us on our AME?
Still pending. Things are being filed in both the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals
We're
and.
still paying for that?
Yes, and so that is the SB 202 litigation. We now have, as of very recently, what will be called the HB 189 litigation. And that is the mass voter challenge litigation, which will be filing a motion to dismiss in that.
Can you guess how much we spend on AME since that point?
As I always say, it's in the 6 figures. It's been going on for years.
How long has it been going on?
For years. I don't know, but at least, so it was after,
ever since it was passed.
well,
Since it was passed.
and, we obviously don't follow everything that is done, but there are multiple filings every single day. And have been for years.
Very complicated.
Well, those are the two, those are two of the things. There's The only other one we have out there is the Figurito matter, and that really just sits. Okay, that one is definitely not in 6 figures. That one just kind of sits. And I don't know what's gonna go on with it, but I can give, and I probably should do this as a matter of course, because I certainly give them to the county, give a litigation update to you all every so often by email, so I can give you more in-depth information than I can say in public.
And thank you for handling
I
all
was
the reason that.
I was getting ready to say that. Thank you so much for handling that.
Well, that was an update I should have given as well, but I think that's a good one.
Now we're back to the time when you all can talk. Any public comments, you get 2 minutes.
I have a couple of questions just for clarity. On the sign account, it's by midnight, what day after the election?
Oh, we have to turn in results by midnight on election day. It's not the final count because it still has to take into account provisional ballots and some last minute absentees that can come in from overseas. But
Point of order, I appreciate the willingness to converse, and I would encourage it after the meeting, but this is a period for public comments where we listen to the public rather than back and forth.
But if you have another question, we'll write it down and get you an answer. Anybody else?
I have a question, and I'll just, I'll wait for the answer later. But, I was wondering if y'all are, maybe you discussed this, charging people who constantly come and cost the taxpayers money, by filing petitions and, asking for people to be removed, from the, list of those who are qualified to vote. If y'all are collecting from these folks, to compensate you and the citizens for the monies that y'all are having to spend on extra copying and the extra staff hours. And so I wondered about that, and I also wondered what progress has been made on the accessibility issue. And I don't know if there's a place here on your agenda where y'all could go back to that maybe and kind of talk about it. I know I'm interested, and I'm sure others are interested as well.
We talked about it last year, and I'll talk to you about it at very.
Madam Chair,
And this is, I'm asking, I meant to mention the mass voter challenge fees in my reports. May I speak?
Yes, go ahead.
Not necessarily to answer the question, but just to speak to that. I meant to give you mine. There was reported in the AJC, and y'all may have all seen it, that Cobb County either passed or was considering passing a rule that if you file a mass voter challenge, I believe it was postage for the notices that go out had to be paid with it. As you all know, working on a policy for mass voter challenges, and that will be something that the board can decide. I can have it in or out, and you all can decide, but that has come up, and I think what the article said was that other counties have either been doing it already or are considering doing it. And I think that's what Commissioner.
So I would say when we're working on our, we can talk about it.
It'll be flexible.
And I think we can have accessibility on the agenda next time too.
Oh, yes, oh, yes, oh, yes. So we'll make sure we add that on the next time, because we did have some things that we needed to happen, and they were in the works.
But don't you already charge for certain things? Don't those things fall under some of the stuff you already can charge for? Because that's a tremendous expense in time and your paper and whatever. So it seems to me that you would already have something in place that could allow you to collect from these folks, because you've had a bunch of work that you've done. I think something's already in place.
We can look, I think we've discussed it in past years, and, different fees for, for a lot of the things we do. And, I believe it would have to go through the county commission is what we decided, but we can look at it.
Look at if there's a fee schedule out there, we just send it to them so we can see it, and then we can
And
put it
send
on
them a bill.
the next.
I'm sorry if I talked out of turn, but that is necessary. It's my taxpayer money as well, and I don't want it, well, let me just.
Okay, I think you mentioned another location for an absentee ballot box.
No,
You did, something to do with the water authority? We did, so we don't have another location.
You only get one per
$100,000. You get one per 100,000 voters.
And could you, I'm not sure if you can answer this, I'm not sure if everybody is aware of, when I asked a question, about a ballot at the front, and they talked to, they said, make sure you file it at this particular date. Is that being publicized so people will know when they can actually turn in that absentee ballot, for the election?
We'll deal with them.
This question.
I didn't see her. I think what I heard, yes, I think what I heard was that, there were some changes that were gonna be made as far as, maybe using the courthouse or the library, and then on the news, it said something like the absentee ballot, but they were saying they had to get approval from the, Secretary of State to probably move it somewhere, maybe in here, if not, so people would have to walk for, but not another location, but I know they said they had to get the Secretary of State approval to do anything with that. It's been.
I have been just hearing that there have been hundreds of submissions to that new registration cancellation portal. And I don't know how to do it if that's not in the form of a question, except to make the statement. If it's unduly burdening your staff because of the submissions coming in, that would be Bibb County, can we be made aware so that is there anything that we can do to help, or is that being addressed? Because I'm just thinking if someone could actually, if they know my name and birthday, then they could go in and cancel my registration.
You have to have more than
And I know that then it comes in a form, but someone working it would have to then take the time to go in and verify and confirm that it is really me. And so so that person is checking records. And how much time does that actually take for them to confirm?
So,
And then notify the voter?
so what we can do is we can have, I think, put that number in the sheet. We can add that as a line item to give a weekly update, or monthly update. Okay.
Yeah, and I was gonna say that could be one of the things that's submitted on the numbers that the registrar gives us. So,
Thank you.
listen, I just wanna say, I talked to the people who work in the office, Tom's employees, staff of the city council, the county employees that work here. And everybody is so hardworking and so.
They've all.
You're reaching to the choir. And it just makes me
So I had motion and a second for adjournment.
All in favor, say
All in favor?
aye. All right.
Good luck, young man.
Nice job.
I'm willing to come back. Nice to meet you.